Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be sharing a review on the newly released version of the Coach Empire 21. I have a lot of thoughts on this one, so hang on tight guys. This might be a bumpy ride. So if we haven't met, my name is Jo, and I'm a lover of all luxury bags and beauty. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and be sure to click the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Coach has been having a renaissance. Over the past few years, they've really grown back into popularity, and I think that's due to a number of factors, to include the resurgence of the 90s and the early 2000s in fashion, as well as a few of their bag styles that went viral, such as their pillow tabby, which I really think kind of brought the brand back into the limelight. Now, earlier this year, I believe it was around the February timeframe, Coach dropped a very finite number of their runway styles that would then be released again later in the fall. This drop included a number of styles, which included this mini version of their very popular Empire collection. So this is their 21 style, which reflects the length of the bag in centimeters. So I believe from the research that I've been doing, this bag was released in 3 colors, I think. I know there was a chestnut, I believe there was a honey, and then there was a natural, but I could be wrong. Anyway, they were vegetable tanned leather, so a different leather than this bag here. And supposedly there were 5 of each color that were released, and they were, I believe, around $450 a piece, which is pretty high for a small bag given their normal price points. So anyway, I'm so sad to say that I had no idea that this release was happening in February, and I totally missed it. I started to see people who did get the bag share them on social media. I immediately fell in love, especially with that chestnut one. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And I asked them, where did you get it? Where did you get it? And they said, oh, it's gone, but supposedly it's coming back in the fall. And sure enough, as promised, this bag here was released, I believe, just last week. So this version now comes in 3 colors. It comes in black, and then in this color, which is maple, and then it also comes in a toffee color. Now, another difference about the bag is that it's actually sold at a cheaper price point. So this bag is actually $295 versus that $450 that was the price for the runway version. To me, I find that quite surprising given, the latest trends with the luxury houses is to have all of the prices continually go up. So to me, it was kind of refreshing to see that Coach took a more reasonable approach when they were releasing this bag. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the features of this new version of the Empire 21. So like I said, I have the maple color, and I did actually order the toffee color as well, which I'm excited to receive. To be honest, I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep both because, I have so many bags, but it's going to be hard because I honestly really love this color. It is a very rich dark brown, which is very much on trend for fall, but I also think I'm going to like the toffee color. So we'll see. But like I said, this is the smallest size of the Empire collection. Again, the length of the bag is 21 centimeters, which is roughly 8¼ inch. It is about 6.75 inches tall, and then it is 5 inches wide. The bag features a smooth, full grain leather, and it weighs a little over 1 pound. So the bag is softer, as you can see here, while it still does hold structure on its own, which I do appreciate. So as you can see, there is a zipper closure, which you guys know I love. And when you open it in the interior, it is cloth. There is a snap button closure for extra organization here. And something else I noticed, I assume this is in all Empire bags, this little strap on the side attaches here, and you actually can adjust it so you can expand the bag a bit if you would want to. It also does have 4 very nice, very substantial feet to protect the bottom of the bag. It does come with a crossbody strap, which is adjustable, and it attaches on the sides of the bag instead of catty corner, which I appreciate. So let's talk about the handles. So on the original runway version, the handles on the bag were, from what I read, to be a 3-inch drop. Versus these handles here, if you can see all the way at the top, there is about 5¼ inches in the height of this handle drop. Now that's only about, a little over 2 inches, but man, it is very noticeable in terms of the proportions of the bag. Now, setting the look aside, I will say that the longer handles do afford some benefits. First off, the biggest thing for me is that this bag can easily slip into the crook of my arm, which is the main way that I do plan to wear it. Now, in terms of wearing this bag crossbody, I'll show you here. I have a mod shot of what it looks like. I honestly don't think it looks that bad. Like, it doesn't hit my rib cage. It's not obtrusive to me on my body, but I agree, it definitely is noticeable to have such long handles versus the more proportionate 3-inch bag drops. I do feel like when I wear this bag crossbody, it is just a little bulky for me because it is a slightly bigger bag than I'm normally carrying. And so regardless of the fact that this comes with a crossbody bag, I likely was planning to wear this, as a top handle or in the crook of my arm anyway. But I will say it is a lot easier to slide this bag onto my arm, especially I'm thinking ahead for, the colder months where I have thick sweaters, thick coats. This is going to be a lot easier than what I would imagine the 3-inch drop would be. Now, any of you who have the runway bag, first of all, I'm so jealous. Secondly, if you're ever planning to sell it, please let me know. But thirdly, please drop in the comments whether or not the handle drop on the runway version is small or whether you think it's not too bad. I also think when you accessorize the bag and add charms and do things to really make this bag personalized to yourself, it does draw less attention to the handles. And also when you're wearing the bag, your arm is sticking out through this hole here. You're not really seeing that full proportion of the bag anymore as well. So I just wanted to show you real quick what my bag looks like when I've dressed it all up. I don't normally put this many charms on a bag, but I don't know, this is the way I've seen all of these Coach Empire bags styled, so I wanted to give it a go, give it a try. So just a quick tour. I got these two, I think, from Amazon from 2 different purchases, so I'll link those. This is a Rogue, I believe, a Coach Rogue bag charm that I had gotten from Mercari. These are so cute. Like, their bag charms are just the best. Then I have these cherries from Amazon. I like this set because the stem is short. And then we have this little tag here. This is actually meant to be able to hold an air tag in it, which is pretty handy. But I just love that it matches this bag so well, and they can emboss it. So I have my initials. So this is from Valerie Constance. I have shared her stuff before. I'm a big fan. She's the same brand that makes my iPhone case, which is also really nice. So I'll include her information in the description below. This isn't sponsored, but she did give this to me a while ago, and I just feel like I'm now able to put it into good use. Finally, I have this chain here. I can't remember where I got this from. I'll be sure to link it below. It's been a while since I've used it, since it's a little short, but I actually like it on this bag. I feel like It hangs nicely at a nice length and kind of adds some gold accents to it. So let me know what you think. This is kind of a lot, I know, but let me know what you think about how I accessorized it. So let's do a quick review of what fits. I already shared my what's in my bag video across all of my platforms, so definitely be sure to check it out and send it some love. I always appreciate your support. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead, I'll show you what I actually had from that reel. So first I had my phone. Again, this is my iPhone 14 Pro. I have my card case. I have my mini pochette. I have my mini agenda. I have a brush, some hand sanitizer, hand lotion, 2 lippies, a perfume, some earbuds, some gum. Isn't this cute? Then I also had a mirror in the little pocket. Also, I forgot that in my What's in My Bag video, I also show that my sunglasses can fit in there on top of everything else in this bag. So again, it can fit a lot. I will say, I mean, the bag weighs a pound, so when you add a lot into it, it is going to get a little heavier, but overall, I don't think it is a noticeable thing, and normally I honestly don't carry this much in my bag on a daily basis. So let's do some size comparisons. So the first I have is my Alma BB, and in terms of surface area, I would say they look very similar in size. I think the Alma is a hair longer, but the thing is, when you turn this bag on its side like this, you'll see again that the Alma is hindered by the fact that it slims so much at the top. So I will say I imagine that the 21 can hold a lot more than the Alma, but let's test it to find out. Okay, so here is how everything fits, and actually everything fits about the same. I had to stack the AirPod case, and I can fit the sunglasses in here as well. So when I zip it shut, there's a thread. It does get a little wonky in the zipper, so I do have to adjust it. But yeah, everything does fit. I guess since this bag is a little taller than the 21, maybe that gives it more room to fit everything. Okay, next we have my Marc Jacobs mini tote, and this is definitely smaller than my Empire 21. As you can see, the 21 is also wider at the bottom. But the reason I wanted to compare this bag is because of the handles. So I measured it, and the handle drop on this mini tote is 3 inches. So if we put this behind it, I mean, obviously this one's closer, so it's gonna look bigger, but you can kind of see where we are in terms of proportions, I think. So this isn't a great view, but as you can see, I can stick it on my arm. Now, I don't have a sweater on, I don't have, you know, a coat on, but you can see it's pretty tight on my arm, and I am a small person. So, you know, I imagine that the handle on the runway version might be more of just a top handle for a good number of people, especially in the winter when we're all wearing thicker clothes. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and the cons. First off, in terms of the pros, I do really like the size of this bag. I think it is really cute. It is mini, yet it's not mini at the same time because it really can fit so much. And I also love that it has the zipper closure. You guys know me, I love a good zipper closure. I love that the bag has feet, which are, again, another factor that I always think about when I am looking at bags. Also, I really do love the color of this one. I don't know, I'm torn. The more that I've kind of worn it and tried it on around the house, I do think that I might keep this one too, because it's really, really rich and pretty. It looks slightly different and slightly different light, but I think it's going to be great for fall and winter. Also, I think there are a lot of really great mini details on this bag. Like, as you can see here, it says Coach on the little feet. There's obviously the genuine full grain leather on there. There's the little Coach 1941 stamp on there. So there's just lots of pretty details. Like, I actually like this aged brass as well. Overall, I think the bag is well made. I feel like I didn't see any glaring, like stitching issues, any type of like issues with, the leather, the glazing, everything looked good on this bag. So overall, I do think it is a solid bag at a solid price point, given, this is an all leather bag. It is well constructed. So in that case, I do think it is worth the price. But let's talk about the cons as well. So first off, I think the first con really isn't the handles, but it actually is the leather. Now, again, like I said, the leather is nice. Like, you can see the feel of the leather here. It does look and feel pretty nice. And this might be something stupid, but the bag doesn't smell like leather. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a leather bag. I 100% believe this is leather, and like I said, it's beautiful. I just think that I can imagine the runway version with its vegetable tanned leathers probably have that like rich, luxurious leather smell to them. It's a different leather. At least I believe it is. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. But, I think this leather is beautiful. It does just feel more treated. Now, that does have its pros and cons, because if it's treated, then, I can't scratch it. Whereas I've heard on the runway ones, it's that type of leather like my Miu Miu bag, where if you even just look at it, it will scratch. But that's part of the character, that's part of the charm of the bag. But yeah, in this case, so, some people might like the fact that this is more of a treated bag, that you don't have to worry about it in the rain, that you don't have to, really baby it. For me, though, I just love that luxurious, high maintenance type of leather. I don't want a plain Vachetta bag. We've talked about that. I hate Vachetta, but like, the bags that have that like really rich, not super highly finished leather is what I would prefer. So here is a shot from my friend Solely Designer on Instagram. She actually has both the runway version and the new 21 style in toffee. And as you can see, just look at the leather of the bottom one. Like, it just looks richer. Now, albeit the runway one had costed more, and right now, given it's literally impossible to find, it probably costs substantially more. But I just don't think there is any denying that the leather on the runway bags just look better. Another con is the fact that this bag does have sharp corners, and this would be a con on just the Empire line overall. Anytime you see these folded corners like this, there's just the added chance that there's going to be wear and tear, and that's going to be one of the first places where you'll see it. So it's a con just in the sense of, you're going to want to be careful on the edges of your bag. Okay, so now let's talk about the handles. I'm going to be honest, I am really torn about the handles. If I'm fully honest with myself, I'll agree. I prefer the look of the runway version of this bag. I like the smaller, more proportionate handles. And honestly, I think on me, I wouldn't have an issue with the fact that the top handles are small. So that is why I'm still pursuing the runway version, that and because of the leather, and I just like the color of that chestnut one. Honestly, guys, if anyone knows someone that has that bag who is selling it, please let me know. That said, I still think I like this bag, and I still do think I want to keep it because, yes, they're not as proportionate, but they are very functional. I really do enjoy the fact that I can use this very carefree. I can slip it onto my arm and not even think twice. So in that sense, I think, it is a good option. But that said, I just think they went overboard. Like, I don't think they needed to do 5.5 inches. I think they could have gotten away with just, saying, hey, we heard the feedback that the handles were too small last time. We'll make them 4 inches. Like 4 inches would have been here. Like, this looks like someone used the stretch tool on Photoshop and just like kept going. Like, just kept going, kept stretching it. Like, it looks a little comical, and I get that. Especially when you're just looking at it like this. Like when it's not on the crook of your arm, it just does look a little weird. And I think that's partially also due to the fact that we've all seen the original runway version that has the smaller handles. So we have like something to compare it to. I'm curious what people would think if we hadn't had the original runway version and we had just seen this. Like, would there have been the same amount of skepticism towards the handles if we hadn't seen the more proportionate version? So is it a con? I don't know. The jury's still out for me. I do think that it has a reason, it serves a purpose. But yeah, I could definitely see how the longer handles might be a deal breaker for someone. So my overall thoughts. I'm not fully sure. Like, I do like this bag. I am glad I got to try it out, even if it was just to test it and to share it with you all, which on a side note, I do want to caveat that, my buying habits are and should be very different from the normal viewer. Again, content creation is a job for me, and so I'm often buying bags, not only because I like them, like obviously I'm only buying bags that I am genuinely interested in, but also because I can review them and I can share them with you and provide information that might, help your decision making. But I don't think it's normal to go out and buy every bag that pops up that is something new. I think if I didn't do content creation, I certainly wouldn't have as many bags as I do now. And I just feel like I need to say that because I don't want to perpetuate this idea that, I'm encouraging everyone to go buy all the things all the time like I do. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, I don't know if you've noticed, but I kept the tag on this bag because I am not fully sure if I'm going to keep two. I definitely want to see what the toffee one looks like. I actually won't be able to return the toffee one if I don't like it. So if I end up not liking it, you'll probably see it in a vlog sale. But, I do actually like this color. It's growing on me a lot. But like I said, regardless of whether I keep one or two of them, I definitely want this bag style in my collection. I love it. I think it's that great size. I like the style of it. I think Coach really did a great job making this stylish yet understated bag. Let's not talk about the handles. But again, as much as I love this, I am still pining after that runway version in chestnut. That's the color that I want. I won't settle for anything else. I'm going to continue to look. And I think if I am able to find one, it's not going to be the situation where I sell this one or the toffee one. I think I would probably keep both because I think they look so different. Like, I just think they're a different vibe. They're different colors. But yeah, my heart is set on that chestnut one. But yeah, would I recommend this bag? Yes. Yes, I honestly would. And I think people will come to realize that the handles on this bag are actually quite functional and likely more functional than the original. And I think that, this whole initial shock of seeing these long handles will fade. But if you're not going to be able to get past that proportion, then I think that's fair too. And I think it's fair to say, don't buy it, because I think I've mentioned this before, like, you know, bags are meant to be enjoyed. And if you really love a bag, then that makes it worth it. But if you're going to buy it and you are not going to use it, then don't spend your money on it, you know? And I know that is rich coming from me because I have so many bags and my job is to point out the pros and cons. So obviously I have things that I consider cons on each bag, but I do think I'm going to wear this. I do feel like I will get use out of this one. And I think that people that have similar tastes in bags will enjoy it as well. That wraps up my kind of rambling overview of this bag. As always, I want to chat with you guys in the comments below. I am particularly interested about people's thoughts on this one. What do you think about Coach? What do you think about this bag? What do you think about these handles? Do you think this bag is worth it? Definitely share your thoughts below. And as always, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I would just love to continue to connect with all of you here on my long form YouTube channel. If you want to watch more of my bag reviews, I'll be sure to include a playlist right here, and YouTube will pick out a video that they think you would like right here as well. So feel free to watch, but if not, either way, until then, bye for now.